Hey peeps, whilst I was at EGX, I managed to have a chat with Embody Solutions about their game Space Station Continuum, so stay tuned. Hey guys, Skeletorus here. I'm here with John from Embody Solutions, one-man development company who are bringing out a game, Space Station Continuum. You alright, John? How's it going?
Going very well, thank you. Yeah,
Good,
been a great weekend so far.
It is, it's brilliant. A lot of new games around, a lot of old games as well, but tell us a little bit about yours. What's the main name of Space Station Continuum?
So Space Station Continuum is a building and management simulator based on real NASA history.
Oh,
so you begin in the 1970s during the Apollo era with access to very basic technology, and over the years, by earning more money and researching more technologies, you build your space station bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually you become less and less reliant on having to ship everything you need up from Earth. In the early days, all your food and water and everything has to be launched into orbit, which is very, very expensive. So you're always working towards being able to produce your own food, recycle your own water in space. And then eventually, when you move past the modern day into the near future, you can even start doing things like mining asteroids for materials and using those materials to 3D print your own modules in space. So eventually it kind of flips on its head and you're no longer reliant on the ground starts being reliant on you.
Oh wow, so there's quite a lot of detail in the game as it progresses then. Being a one-man development, does that make things difficult for you?
Well, so first off, I can't claim to be completely one-man development.
Okay.
So while I'm doing all the game design and the programming and everything, I have two very talented guys working with me doing all the art for the game and also the music.
Okay.
So when I first started, it was very much a passion project, and I definitely wanted to do all the art and the music, but very quickly found out I don't have the skills or the talents for those things. So I've delegated those to people who know what they're doing. But on the kind of day-to-day running side of it, yeah, I do this full time. I do all the game design, I do all the programming, I do all the marketing. It's quite a lot of work for one person to do. And this is a new experience for me. This is my first proper game that I'm trying to release. But I'm enjoying it. I love all that stuff.
You said it's the first game that you've done. Is it the first game you've worked on ever, or?
No, so I've made a few smaller games, little prototypes here and there over the years. The first one I really made was back in 2012, 2013. NASA actually hosted a weekend-long games jam at the NASA Ames Research Center in California, where I lived at the time. So I went along to that and made a little game. You can probably find it on YouTube, called Asteroid Tycoon, where you fly a little space shuttle around the Earth and you have to collect asteroids and send them back to Earth to make money. And that was all based on real orbital mechanics and everything. It was one of those games that on the surface looks very simple, but once you start playing it, there's a lot of complexity underneath it, and that's the theme I'm trying to continue with Space Station Continuum.
So you've got your inspiration from things you've worked on in the past, but is it something like Space Station Continuum? Is this something that you've kind of had a brainchild and thought, this is where I want to, this is my ultimate aim for a game?
Yeah, absolutely. So various ideas close to Space Station Continuum have been floating around ever since that NASA Games Jam. But really it was, I'd say early last year, that the idea really started to click and fall into place for me. I love games like Kerbal Space Program and RimWorld and Prison Architect, anything with a lot of complexity hiding under the hood. So I knew I wanted to make something that combined my love for space and my love for complex management simulation, and that's kind of where those two things come together and give you Space Station Continuum.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You mentioned RimWorld and games like other management games. Your game also has kind of a pixel art look. I think that's coming back in, the retro style.
Yeah,
look.
definitely. Yeah, you see a lot of retro aesthetics at events like this right now. And I think that's probably a product of those of us that grew up in the 80s and the 90s now being old enough to start doing our own thing and making our own games. So we're naturally influenced by the things we grew up with at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember games from when I was a child, and I think games haven't gotten... games have seemed to have gotten easier,
yeah.
I think. Like, companies are trying to drive games that people want to play because they're easy. But I think it's coming back from people from our era that when we were in the 80s, 90s, were you actually playing games that actually felt like an
games
achievement?
were hard. Like,
Yeah.
you go back and play games on the Atari, and it's unusual to find out that someone has actually finished one of those games.
Yeah.
I think you see a lot of games now where they're trying to appeal to the broadest possible audience to make the most money, which is fair enough. Everyone's got to make some money. But when you dilute a game like that so much, it gets to the point where by trying to make something that appeals to everyone, you make something that appeals to no one.
Yeah.
And that's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a game that I want to play with all the very specific niches that I'm interested in, and I'm just trusting that there'll be other people out there that like the same things I do. And so far, that seems to be holding true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite excited to play this game. At what point can we expect to see it come out and maybe have an early access or play the game?
Yeah, so I'm expecting to release an early access towards the end of this year, 2018. The plan is, the way the technological development works in the game, you progress through the various eras of spaceflight. So the plan is to release initially with all the 1970s and early 80s content, and then subsequent content updates will bring you the next decade, and you'll be able to progress further through the tech tree each time.
Brilliant. In the future of the game, is there any sort of modding that could be implemented?
Yeah, absolutely. So mod support is something I'm very keen to add to the game. Quite possibly not at release, but well, at release, yes. Early access release, probably not. But at the end of the day, I'm only one guy. I can only make so much, and I'm very much looking forward to all the crazy things that the modding community can come up with.
Brilliant. So will this be available on multiple platforms?
So Steam primarily. So you can find the game on Steam today. It has a coming soon page, which you can add to your wish list.
Which I've done.
Excellent. That's good to hear. So Steam will be our primary launch platform. You can expect to see it on several other PC platforms around the same time, and console releases may be off in the future. But it's primarily a game for PC.
Brilliant. Well, guys, that's John and myself, Skeletorus, with Space Station Continuum. Check out the YouTube channel where I'll definitely be doing some content on your game.
Thank you.
Brilliant to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Cheers.
And there it is, a good old chat with John from N-Body Solution. Thank you to John for taking the time to talk to me about Space Station Continuum. I'm very much looking forward to playing more of this in the future. If you want to know more about N-Body Solutions or are interested in the game, then a link to their website and Steam page will be in the description below, or leave a question down in the comment section. This was my second day at EGX, and the videos of my time there will be up very shortly, so don't miss out. If you're a fan of indie games, then you should also check out my coverage of Double Kick Heroes, a rhythm-based game where you blast away zombie hordes with the power of metal. Make sure you don't miss anything by hitting that subscribe button along with the bell. Until next time, peeps, Skeletorus out.